What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY in the overall market. I'm also going to break down why Tesla's looking pretty good right now, once again, testing this key resistance. And we want to see what kind of reaction we get, at least from this moving forward. But just know that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Webull link. If you deposit any amount of money, you're guaranteed a 12 free stocks. If you deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 in total, and deposit $2,000 or more, and you're guaranteed 40. The offer ends very soon in just 3 days. Anyways, now let's talk about what's happening with the market. So far, Tesla's on a bit of an uptrend, pushing very, very nicely, but we have this tough resistance to watch for in the low 270s. So I'll be watching to see if Tesla could break this resistance. And if we do so, this thing will continue to pump as we're seeing some more buyers trying to defend it. But if we can't do that, then we're going to be looking for some key supports. And I'll talk about these levels in just about a minute. But just know this, guys, for our economic data, we don't really have much today. We do have the Dallas Fed manufacturing numbers coming out at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then at 11:30 a.m., we have some bill auctions, which is all very, very minor. As far as the news goes about Elon Musk, I just wanted to call this out. There's been a lot of talk about Elon Musk's 2025 prediction. Many people are saying that it's very bold and it is leading to more scrutiny for him. But honestly, guys, this is what tends to happen when it comes to predictions like this. So, Musk is basically saying that there's going to be a big improvement in Tesla's sales, and we're looking for 20 to 30% growth next year. Now, many analysts are saying that that's unrealistic, this and that. Many of them are actually like anticipating about 12% growth for next year, considering the fact that there's still going to be high interest rates. But Musk has very, very different forecasts. Now, Musk could be completely correct about the fact that Tesla sales could continue to boost, especially as they have new products developing and a lot of hype with the Cybertruck and different factors like that. However, in my opinion, I think that this is very ambitious, and I think that it's very good for Tesla to aim for the sky. So we'll see how things end up going, at least for them. All things aside, I think that looking at this amount of growth would be absolutely incredible. The International Energy Agency estimates EV sales to grow by about 23% this year. That's actually down from a 35% increase relative to before. So there has been a lot of talk about EV sales slowing, this and that, which is why it's leading to Elon Musk's claim about their sales being very strong, leading to some scrutiny. And there's also some talk about how tariffs could also increase in China. So we'll have to wait and see on all of this, guys. But I just want to say that, with Musk, I wouldn't necessarily doubt him. I wouldn't say that he's wrong. It's still very possible Tesla achieves at least 20% growth. We'll have to see about that. But I'm still very optimistic nonetheless about their new models and such. And let's hope for the best, at least going into next year. Once again, guys, there's not really much data coming out. It's just at 10:30 a.m. we have like the manufacturing numbers and a bunch of node auctions, but there's not really much that's coming out too crazily for today. For today, also for earnings, it's very, very minor. There's not really much coming out this morning. After market close, we have Ford, and that's going to be pretty much it. Starting from Tuesday through Thursday, it's all going to be about the big earnings that come out, as we have PayPal and the big tech earnings. So get ready for all of that. And then on top of this, when it comes to news involving the markets, just know that we had that big news involving Israel and Iran. That's very, very important as well. But because Israel did not necessarily strike Iranian oil supplies and their overall oil facilities, I guess it's not as impactful for the markets. I would say that's why the market is still able to hold up, because it's not having as big an effect on like energy. Also, with tech earnings coming out, we're seeing some optimism involving with that. That's why the market is still holding up decently. So we'll have to see how things end up going, at least for this moving forward. So, with that being said, guys, what do we see at least for the market moving forward? I'm not seeing too much news this morning. There's just a lot of anticipation of earnings. So, as far as Tesla goes, the share price is technically a little bit more bullish. We did dip a bit during the pre-market. It's about 268. And then we got bought back up. So it didn't go as low as I was thinking it would go. And right now we're attempting to push. So if we could break 270, we're looking at 272 as our next potential target. Then above that, I'm going to be looking at these next targets up here. We basically have potentially 275 as our next target, followed by 277, and then we have this 280 area right up here. And if Tesla breaks that, then we have a big gap to fill very close to about the 290s. So this thing is going to go running if we end up breaking past that resistance. Now, if we fail to hold above 270, we're looking at the support at 268 and then 265, not to mention 262. So, in my opinion, I think that Tesla's holding very nicely above 270, but this is going to be a tough resistance. It's possible we kind of dip a little bit, then we continue to try to push. But as of right now, as long as you hold above 270, we do remain a lot more bullish, and this thing could continue to push even higher to the mid 270s. So watch to see if you hold 270. As of right now, there's a lot of potential looking at this chart, and we could continue to push from there. As far as SPY goes, we're attempting to push right here, but just know that SPY is range bound. So we dipped quite a bit all the way down to about 577. We came short of my 575 target before getting the bounce. I was thinking we would dip a little bit more before we get that bounce, but instead we're rebounding a little bit early. So that's very, very interesting. But just know every time we're around 577 to 575, we get bought back up. And we tend to get rejected near 583 to 585 as well. So we came down here, we're rebounding very, very nicely. We could attempt to push a little bit closer to about 584. Then once we get back to this resistance, we'll be coming right back down. So I presume that we're just range bound for now, right? We're just going back and forth in this range. So look for a little bit of a push and a dip back down, and that's what SPY is doing at least for now. We could get very, very close to about 584 or so. If we break 586, we will be breaking all-time highs, but if we do tend to get rejected in this area, so look for a little bit more upside, and then maybe a little bit of a dip later on during the day back down towards closer to the lower 580s. So pump and dump and lots of sideways price actions to be anticipated. For ES, we have this gap down here. So it is possible to try to push a little bit higher for the just under 5,900. Then we dip back down towards our EMAs, back down to 5,860. We just continue to remain range bound as well. I find that to be the most likely case. So watch and see if that ends up continuing or not. As far as Nvidia goes, we're range bound, but there is that gap to fill below. So it is possible Nvidia pushes back up towards 144. We could dip back down towards 141, and we're just range bound between 140 and 144 for now. So I think Nvidia is going to be trading sideways for the time being. So just keep that in mind. Unless we break 144, we are going to remain range bound. Bitcoin dipped all the way down towards 67,500, very close to my expectation, only to get a big bounce after that. So now we're looking for an attempt to get back up to about 69,000. We'll see if we break that or not, but this has potential to push a little bit higher. So look for the 69,000 and we'll see if we get a rejection, but there is that potential. For NQ is looking a little bit more bullish, trying to break out right over here. We're looking for 20,675 as our resistance, and our main support's at 20,500. We'll see if we break this resistance or not, but in my personal opinion, I think that NQ has potential to do this as there's a little bit of hype anticipating with earnings. So my anticipation was that initially I was saying that we could be dipping to about 20,300. We were there only to get a big bounce. So it ended up bouncing very nicely instead of continuing to dip a little bit more before getting the bounce. So that's a good sign. So now we're looking for a target of this high. If this breaks, we're looking for 20,800 with a lot of hype anticipated with earnings. Also, the Israel news did not affect this as much. So this remains bullish. So does the QQQ. We're looking for 500 as our target. If we break past 500, we're looking for an even bigger push. And this could lead to an even more, a more vigorous attempt for upside. So break 500, we're looking for basically 502 as our next target. It's going to be a big test at 500 on the QQQ, and this could try to push a little bit more. Apple's also attempting to push. As long as we don't lose 230, we're looking for an attempt to get back up to this imbalance. Back up to 235, we look more bullish as their buyers defending it, approaching its earnings. This is also on an uptrend now. Instead of coming down to this EMA and then bouncing, we actually bounced early, and we're reclaiming these EMAs. So this is suggesting we're actually going back up to 235. So a bit of a shift in the markets. For the IWM, we're attempting to rebound. We did not lose 218. We're looking at 221 as resistance. If we break the 50 EMA, we're looking for a much bigger push for the 224 area. So we'll see if 221 breaks at the 50 EMA or not. For a few more, we have Coin. Coin dipped. I was talking about how it might dip to 200 and then try to bounce. We came all the way down to about 202, so it came a little bit short of my target before it tried to bounce. So this market looks a little bit more bullish. We're going to be looking for 216 as our target. Amazon's looking more bullish. We'll have to be watching for 191. There's a lot of hype involved with earnings. Meta came short. It came down to about 560. We were talking about how it could be dipping back down a little bit below that before it tries to bounce. So it came above expectations. Now we're back above 577. So we're looking for a target of 585. Still looks more bullish. Microsoft is more bullish. We're looking for basically 432. Google's also a little bit more bullish, trying to break out to 171. So the market's more bullish right now. As long as Tesla does not lose 270, we could be looking for another attempt to pump to 272, then 275, and all the way up to 278 is our next potential target. That's what I'm seeing for Tesla, as there is more upside potential in this chart. We'll see if we could hold above 270, but that's what I'm anticipating right now. We still remain bullish. And the news involving Israel is not really affecting the market as badly as I'd initially thought, but it's okay, guys. Sometimes you have to make those adjustments. I thank you for listening. I'll be back in a couple of hours for another update, and peace out.